Welcome back to the Nikko Daze Show, your soft space in a noisy world, your warm cup of calm when the day's been too loud. I'm your host, Nikko, soul listener, night feeler, keeper of the quiet, and tonight, we're going to sit with something a little tender, a kind of ache that doesn't always scream it, just lingers. Loving people who can't love you back. Maybe you've been there, in a relationship where you gave more than you received, in a friendship that slowly faded while you kept trying, or maybe it's family, the kind of bond you didn't choose but hoped would choose you back. Tonight, we're talking about what it means to love when love isn't returned, not in the way you needed, not in the way you deserved, and most of all, how to let go without hardening. But before we begin, I want you to do something with me, wherever you are, whether you're walking, lying down, staring at your ceiling at 2 a.m. Take a moment to pause, breathe in, let your shoulders drop. This is your moment now, and you're safe here. If you haven't yet, follow or subscribe to the Nikko Daze Show on Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere your heart needs soft company. Now, let's talk about the kind of love that breaks us and somehow also rebuilds us. Let's come back to ourselves before we go deeper. Wherever you are right now, let's drop in. Imagine this. You're sitting in your room. The lights are low. The hum of the fan. Maybe some late night traffic outside your window. Your phone is face down. And for once, there's silence. Not the awkward kind. The kind that holds you. Take a slow, full breath in. Feel your chest rise. Now let it go. Let your body melt a little more into this moment. Put a hand over your heart. Not because it's poetic, because sometimes we forget we're still here. Still beating, still breathing, even after the love we gave was left unanswered. Now ask yourself, did I spend today trying to prove my worth to someone who still doesn't see me? Did I shrink parts of myself just to feel a little closer to love? Where did I bend too far just to keep the peace? Where did I abandon myself, hoping someone else wouldn't? And then, with gentleness, was there even one moment where I felt seen? A glance, a lyric, a stranger's kindness, a memory that reminded me I used to feel more alive than this. These questions aren't for answers. They're for returning back to you, back to the soft parts you've silenced to be loved louder. And maybe tonight this episode can be the start of you learning to speak to yourself with more kindness, the way you've always wished they would. That's your check-in. That's the days. And you're still here, still trying, still worthy. There was this person, the kind you meet once and think, there you are. Like a puzzle piece you've been waiting your whole life to find. The conversation was easy. Laughter came quick. They knew how to make you feel seen in a way that made everything else quiet down. And you thought, maybe this is it. But here's the thing no one warns you about. Sometimes connection isn't mutual. Sometimes love doesn't echo back. And that was exactly what happened. I gave my softness, my patience, my it's okay. I understand. They gave me moments, sparks, glances that said maybe, but never commitment. I waited for a sign, for effort, for anything that resembled the love I was so willing to give. I started shrinking myself, making my needs smaller, laughing when I wanted to cry, holding on to crumbs and calling it a feast. Because when you love someone who can't love you back, you become really good at convincing yourself that almost is enough. I remember the night it broke me. We were sitting in the car, parked outside my place. They were scrolling on their phone, laughing at something I wasn't part of. And I sat there quietly, pretending to be okay, pretending the silence didn't feel like a storm in my chest. I finally said, sometimes I feel like I love you more than you love me. They looked at me, paused, and then said, maybe you do. That was it. No protest, no comfort, just confirmation. It wasn't even cruelty. It was indifference. And that's the part that stings the most. When someone can't love you back not because they're bad or broken, but because they simply don't. You want to hate them, but you can't. Because they never asked for your love in the first place. You just offered it freely, hoping they'd eventually learn how to hold it. But they didn't. And so I sat there, heart cracked open, realizing I was loving someone who was never going to meet me halfway. Here's the truth that aches, the one we try so hard to avoid. You can't make someone love you, no matter how gentle you are with their wounds, no matter how many parts of yourself you're willing to bend, shrink, or give away, no matter how patient, how understanding, how much of a safe space you become. You can be the softest place they've ever known, and they'll still leave, not because you're not enough, but because they were never ready, never willing, never capable. Loving someone who can't love you back feels like slowly unraveling piece by piece, while they barely notice the thread in your hands. And the worst part, you'll blame yourself for the unraveling. You'll think, maybe if I were quieter, maybe if I didn't maybe if I didn't care so much. But it's not you. It never was. You're not too much. You're just giving your love to someone with no place to hold it. It's like pouring water into a cup with holes in it. No matter how much you give, it will always feel like you're not giving enough, because they can't hold what you offer. And eventually, you're going to run out of energy, out of hope, out of versions of yourself that twist just enough to feel tolerable. And here's the thing, the moment you realize they can't love you back, you have a choice. You can stay, trying to prove your worth, waiting for the miracle moment when they wake up and realize it was you all along. Or you can leave, not because you stopped loving them, but because you finally started loving yourself more. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared enough to stop bleeding for someone who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. That is love, too. Love for the version of you that's tired, that deserves more, that wants to be chosen, not tolerated. And I know, letting go feels like betrayal, like you're giving up on something that once made you feel alive. But you're not giving up. You're accepting what is. You're choosing peace over potential. You're choosing reality over the version of them that only exists in your hope. That is brave. That is healing. Tonight, when things are quiet, when the ache feels loud and your chest remembers the shape of them, I want you to sit with yourself, not to fix, not to shame, just to witness. Open a fresh page in your journal or open your notes app and write, I gave love that wasn't returned, but I'm still worthy of love that stays. And now, here's the prompt I want you to hold gently in your heart. What parts of myself did I give away in order to be loved by someone who couldn't love me back? And what do I want to reclaim now? Take your time with this. Let the answers come in fragments, in waves. Let the sadness show up without rushing it out of the room. Let yourself be angry, disappointed, even confused. You're allowed to feel everything. And when you're ready, write down one small way you'll begin returning to yourself this week. Maybe it's blocking their number. Maybe it's not checking their page. Maybe it's going out with friends who pour back into you. Or maybe it's something as simple as saying out loud, I miss them, but I miss me more. This is the slow, honest work of healing. You don't need closure from them. You just need truth from you. You deserve a love that doesn't ask you to disappear. Before we end tonight's episode, let's return to you. Wherever you are, close your eyes. Take a breath in, soft and slow. Now let it go. Tonight wasn't about forgetting them. It wasn't about pretending the hurt doesn't exist. It was about remembering you, the version of you that tried, that gave, that stayed soft even when love felt sharp. You are not foolish for loving. You are not weak for hoping. You are not broken because they couldn't meet you where you were. And if no one has told you this lately, let me say it now. You are deeply lovable, even when someone doesn't choose you, even when they don't have the capacity to return what you gave. Your love was not wasted. It watered something in you, and it will bloom again. Maybe not in their hands, but in yours. So tonight, trap your own arms around yourself. Whisper gently, I am worthy. I am whole. I am healing. And tomorrow, choose you again and again and again. This was the Nikko Daze Show. Thank you for sharing this space with me. If this episode moved you, don't forget to follow the show on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and share it with someone else who might need this softness tonight. I'll be right here, reminding you that your heart is still a beautiful place to live in. See you in the days with so much love. Nikko.